Hi, welcome to the Boca Voice and Fact or Fiction Friday. Today I'm here with Armand Grossman, who's a longtime Boca resident, and he decided to throw his hat in the ring for City Council. Armand, welcome.
Good to be with you again, Peter.
So tell us, what made you decide to run for City Council?
Well, I've been a long-time resident of Boca Raton, as you well know. In fact, I moved here in, well, it was January of 1965, and I was a student at Florida Atlantic University before there were any alumni. It was the very first year of the university, and it was an extraordinary experience. We had outstanding academics at FAU at that particular time, and of course I had come down here from Cleveland, Ohio, so you can well imagine my affinity with this city. I just fell in love with the beaches and the beautiful turquoise water and the academics of FAU, and we were truly outstanding, and it's just been a long, wonderful evolution in relationship with the city.
So tell me, what is it that made you decide to run, and what is it that's going to be your platform? Well,
the city of Boca Raton is obviously considerably different than it was in 1965.
You think?
And yeah, when people say they want to go back to the good old days, I'm not sure you want to do that. Today, Boca Raton is it's just the epitome of a good city, in my opinion. There's a number of great things. We have three outstanding universities here in Boca Raton. We've got an outstanding regional hospital. We've got great libraries. We have incredible parks. And all of that is quality of life issues that contribute significantly to any municipality. But it's interesting. There are 62 corporations that call themselves Palm Beach County their home, called Palm Beach County home. 31 of those are in the city of Boca Raton. And so it's they choose to be here, and they choose to be there for the reasons that I just established. We've been on a very forward trajectory, and I'm very proud of this. I'm proud to live in Boca. I choose to live here. We can live anywhere. And here's the key thing. We stand on the shoulders of those who went before us, who've made a great city. But leadership is everything, Pete. And that can turn at any given moment. If the wrong people get in, and everything turns away, and is no longer the place that it was, because people do not have the vision for the city that would make it the greatness that it is.
Okay, so as we go through this race, and as you're going to go through the race, tell me what's going to differentiate you from your opponents.
Well, I have a very strong vision of the way Boca Raton should continue, and that is embedded in strong, deep roots in this community. I'm very proud to say that as a student at Florida Atlantic University, I did some things that were very, very good for the city. One of them was I'm very proud of. I was a sports editor of the first school paper at FAU.
Really?
And I wrote the student charter there. I participated. I was a senator in the first student government. And so to have that opportunity, that's really a rare distinction and an opportunity for an individual to be on the ground floor of a fantastic university. And being the sports editor of the school paper, we had no sports. And that was the first year of the Miami Dolphins. And they were just a brand new NFL team. And we got the idea we should adopt them as our home team. And as it turned out, they were practicing in St. Petersburg. They did not have a good field. And I knew the public relations fellow down there with the Dolphins, a fellow named Chuck Burr, who was from Ohio. And I was telling him about Boca Raton, and I ran an intramural program because there was no athletic director at that particular time. It was all run through the school paper. And we played intramural football at St. Andrew's School. So I was telling him about this place in Boca Raton, and he said, "Where's Boca Raton?" And I said, "Well, you take I-95 north, but it doesn't go all the way through. You have to get off at Pompano and so forth." And 2 days later, the Dolphins moved to Boca Raton. And I'm very proud of that. And I have since then participated in many development parts of the city. Most notably, I served as in almost every capacity at FAU, from president of the Alumni Association to the chairman of the foundation board. And most recently, I'm trustee emeritus. And while I was there, one of the things we did, which I'm particularly proud of, is we started a med school. And it grew out of the fact that one of my wife's girlfriends had a young child who was in need of a neurosurgeon, and there was no pediatric neurosurgeons in Palm Beach County. Now that's just hard to believe. And we found out after Obamacare, a number of doctors were leaving the profession, and it's critical to have that have a good medical school. And through the help of Adam Hasner in the House, we were, and of course many board members were on board, we were able to get that done, and to a great president and Frank Brogan. So that's a great contributor to the city of Boca Raton. It's important that we have a good regional hospital, and I think that there has been huge strides that have been made there in recent years.
Let's talk about that a little bit. You're not new to politics, you're not new to education. Okay, so let's talk about some of your strengths. In the Republican Party, and even though that the actual city council is non-partisan, but you're relatively well known in the Republican Party in Boca Raton as well as in Palm Beach County, right. And you know your way around politics. How do you think that's going to be well suited in city government?
Well, I'm pleased that you would mention that, Peter, because I serve as the president of the Boca Raton Regional Republican Club, and I sit on the executive board of the Palm Beach County Republican Club. And today there is a huge dichotomy between the Republicans and the other party. And if you look at cities that are run by Democrats, we find that there is this huge disparity between that and Republican leadership. So I believe in obviously a limited government, low taxes, and obviously good schools, and all of that comes out of a general philosophy that's the underpinning of an advancement of the municipality, which goes to the quality of life issues that make up a great municipality.
So tell me a little bit about what you believe is the key factors or the key services that you are going to run on.
Well, I've just named a number of great things about Boca Raton. This is a wonderful place to live. You and I are not the only ones that know that, and that's why people continue to want to move to Boca Raton. It's sort of a catch-22. We built such a great city, and then we say, well, we don't want to grow that fast, but everyone recognizes the great things about Boca Raton. As I mentioned, great schools, the public schools, the private schools are phenomenal. Boca High, one of the best in the country. As I mentioned, our libraries, our parks, our beaches, but all of that is meaningless in an environment that does not offer public safety and good fire and rescue. Those are underpinning philosophies or fundamental services that are absolutely vital to a vibrant and strong municipality. Last year I had the opportunity to moderate a debate between two council members, and I asked them the question. I said, what do you see as the greatest priority in municipal services? And they both said parks and recreation. And I said, maybe I did not ask that question in a way that properly. In your opinion, of all the municipal services that are rendered, which one do you think is the most important? And again, they both said parks and recreation. I said, so if I were having a heart attack, I would, who am I going to call? Parks and Recreation? I got to have a good first responders need to be there. And of course, we have to have a safe environment where, you know, there are some elderly people in this community who are maybe a little, don't want to go out in the house at night. They're afraid that things, you know, it's not a safe environment. And so as a result of that, it's a series of false imprisonment. They can't go out of their house. That is not so prevalent in Boca Raton, but it is prevalent in adjacent communities. I don't have to go too far to see that. But a strong public safety department is absolutely vital to the future of the municipality.
That's great. So what else do you want the people to know about Armand?
I want them to know that I have their best interest in heart. I absolutely love this city, and I don't say that in a casual term. I think I've demonstrated that. I've been extremely active in the community ever since I first came here. Most recently, I was on the Palm Beach County Planning Commission for 3 years, where I served as vice chair. And I'm on my local community board at Royal Palm Yacht and Country Club Association, where I served as a director of public safety, security, and a number of other things through education, and clearly at Florida Atlantic University. 35 years I was a public school teacher and high school basketball coach and guidance counselor and teacher and ultimately an administrator. And so I have been involved in public life in many ways for quite a long time.
Inevitably, two questions are going to come up in this upcoming election. One is going to be development, and the second is going to be schools and overcrowding.
Right.
What are you going to say about
Well,
those?
both of those are absolutely vital issues to the future of Boca Raton. And in terms of growth and development, we'll never be able to just say, no, we've stopped growing. Interestingly enough, Peter, I think I've shared this story with you in the past. as a political science major in undergraduate school, I did a community power structure assessment with another student. And it was done simply by wandering around and say, who's in charge here? And I remember the name Thomas Fleming seemed to be a prominent name at that particular time. He was a local banker and a very prominent guy and a wonderful guy. And then the question I asked was, what is the key issue here now? In 1965, they said growth. No more growth. And I think the city of Boca Raton at that time was about 8,000 people. Today we have nearly 100,000 people and over 200 they call Boca Raton an address. And so we've had growth. Now the reason we have growth is because of all the wonderful things about this community. And so we've created a situation with all the things that I have mentioned. Great schools. I mean, it's just a fabulous place to live. So people want to move here. Now, are we going to say no more growth? No, we can't do that. But reasonable, sustainable growth is obviously the key, and I would place a great deal of emphasis on that. Yes.
So, and how would you handle the school issue?
Well, the school issue, there is, once again, we've got great schools, and the problem is that there's overcrowding in the schools. Now, the question is, where did that overcrowding come from? And there are people who are saying, well, all these new apartments that have been built and so forth. Well, frankly, that is not where the students are coming from. The students are coming from the fact that some of the older neighborhoods, many of the older neighborhoods, when the property is sold, it is sold to a younger couple looking for their first-time home. First-time home buyers are moving in when they have young children who are then moving into the school system. So there are a number of places that opportunities for the school system to build some new schools with the city and collaboration between the two. And of course, a good school system is vital to a strong neighborhood.
That's great. So Armand, what else would you like everybody to know, and how can they reach you?
Well, I'd love them to know that I am a most sincere candidate who loves the city of Boca Raton, and that is the motivation I am running. It's a fabulous place to live, and we want to keep it that way. We want to make sure that the things that we are doing now, we continue to do them, but only do them better. You can find more about me at armandsgrossman.com, learn more about my platform and what I'm attempting to do here, and also a Facebook page. We'd love to have you like us on that as well. We do have an opening rally on February the 1st, and I encourage everyone to go on the website and get the details on that. And I look forward to seeing you and meeting you then. You will note that when I do meet you, and those of you who know me, I love that interaction, and I'm eager to serve, and I will always be responsive to the public throughout my tenure in the council.
Thank you for joining us on Fact or Fiction Friday. We look forward to seeing you next week. Don't forget to follow us online and on Facebook, and don't forget to sign up for our newsletter. We look forward to seeing you next week.